Okay. Well, I'm Emily. I'm part of the Alpha Pi chapter and I'm a service director.
Where is Alpha Pi?
It's at West Virginia University.
Okay.
I'm Grace. I'm from Gamma chapter. I'm service director, and I'm also cultural competence chair.
All right. So we're going to talk about service with a purpose. This is something that's really important to me. And I think it's hopefully you guys take something away from it and are able to use that and influence your guys' chapters and make that impact. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. Okay. So back in the day when I was a young little active, or actually freshman at Northern Arizona University, we had a student org fair. As freshmen, our RA escorted us all kindly to the student org fair, and we had to like go. I personally was not going to join a sorority at all. Had no interest in it, was not my thing. But then I went to the student org fair, and it's literally like we were just all packed into this like line of student org fairs on each side. And there were so many freshmen, it was like crazy. So I finally make my way through this packed, intense line of just everyone trying to gain my interest. And I saw a bunch of different sororities, and I could see them because we were all so packed in. I could see them handpicking certain people out of the mule line, basically. And it even turned me off even more. I was like, I don't want this. And then there was Omega Phi Alpha all the way at the end. They had just heard about the student org fair. They got somebody over there. And what really caught my eye was they were like, yeah, we're a service sorority. We do Relay for Life and all of this service projects. And I was like, okay, Relay for Life. Like, I know that. I've done that. I'll go check it out. And that kind of became the catch-in for me for Omega Phi Alpha was Relay for Life. So I went through the P&M process, active semester, found out like we did Relay for Life, but not on the scale that we used to. And so I kind of took it as a mission to bring us back to our old way of our chapter. And, you know, we did Relay, but it wasn't on the scale that we'd used to. And so I decided to bring us back to the scale that we were used to. With that being said, like Relay for Life, the committee, the chairs, everything, actually knew our chapter because of how big we were in Relay for Life many moons ago when we first started. And that's like, they were like, oh my gosh, you guys are back. And so that was something like, took it on. I only had a semester to do Relay for Life. And in that semester, as the committee chair for that service project, we did it, I think, as our university. I had managed to, I was going to the Relay for Life committee meetings, because there's extra meetings on top of that the captains have to go to. I was planning the fundraiser at Relay for Life that we had to do, trying to get not only actives, but alum at our event. And then designing t-shirts, getting all of our actives involved and whatnot. And it was a lot to take on in a semester. Like designing the t-shirts, having the treasurer add an extra $1. And so every t-shirt purchased went towards the our Relay for Life team, and making sure our Relay for Life team is making the money to be that second tier, that top tier team. And it was a lot of work, to put in, but it was so rewarding and so worth it, because everyone at the chapter hadn't really been a part of Relay for Life or done it yet. And I promised them there was going to be bonding service. It's great. And that's exactly what they got. We ended up being like, I think, second. There's another organization, we shall not name them, that was trying to beat us. But it became a thing. It reignited, like the sisters really bonded at the service event. Like, this is a service event, this is a sisterhood. And people were literally teaching other sisters how to knit, or doing like study guides together for an OChem exam. Like, the bonding level was off the charts, and everyone was so excited and wanted to do it again. And it made enough of an impact to where I went to the executive board and I said, I was like, we need to do, in order to do this properly, this needs to be a permanent committee in its own service project. This cannot be part of the 6 situation. This has to be something we always do. And the reason being is it takes a lot of effort and energy to do it right as a committee. And second, it's part of our history. It's something that's so important to this chapter, and it helps us with PR and everything. Like, these are the reasons it should be a committee on its own. And it is, and still is to this day. It is my little service claim to fame, that I'm very happy is still standing. And the whole point of this session is to help you guys develop that service project. It doesn't have to be Relay for Life, but what is that service project that is going to ignite not just your chair, not just your committee, not just, it's something that's going to stand the test of time. And it's going to be something that puts service in a whole new scale for your guys' chapter. I'm not sure if you guys already have something similar to that, but let's talk about it. How can we get something like that if you don't already have it? And that type of dialogue. And that's what this session and this breakout is for, is to kind of help with that. So, do you guys already have a project in mind that you're like, you know what, we do this every year, how can we elevate it to the next level? Or do you have something where you're like, you know what, we haven't done this in a while, but I feel like this would be the one that we could bring to the aid game? Emily, do you want to go first?
Sure. My chapter doesn't really have like one set project that we do like every single year, and it's like super popular within the chapter. But we did do a project this past semester that everybody seemed to really enjoy. And like you were saying, I feel like it was one of those projects that like really helped to bring people together. And it was just something really simple too. It was free rice, but what we did for it was we turned it into like a competition.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and we would like host little like game nights so that everybody could like just come together and sit and talk and like just have a good time while they were like collecting the rice. But I think that was something that everybody really enjoyed, and I think it's definitely something that I could see us doing again in the future.
Okay. Just first thoughts off the top of my head, because that is a computer one, correct? Like, okay. I think the game nights are awesome. One thing that's coming to mind, I'm like, you could do like family competitions, or like team competitions. So like at the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester, and like almost like Olympic style kind of vibe. And you could have team t-shirts and stuff like that. That's just first thoughts coming to mind, like how you can take, I mean, it's a virtual project, but you can elevate it to that next level, and bring a whole different experience to it.
Yeah, no, those are good ideas, especially t-shirts, because we love our t-shirts.
Everyone loves t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there could be like a prize at the end for whoever, you know, first, second, and third. Like it really could, like.
Yeah, we did something similar with that. We did Starbucks gift cards for the winning team.
Yeah, it could be a semester-long project. Like people will get competitive. But it also, like, you could do it too to where, like, for the sisterhood component, like you could do it as a random group picks, like randomize it. So that way it's not people just picking whoever they want to be on their team.
Yeah, that's actually what we ended up doing, was randomizing it. And it turned out pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that. That's a great way to elevate a very straightforward project and bring it to another level. And by having the t-shirts, that's incorporating another committee, another team on within OPA, and using all those resources.
Right.
Grace, what about you?
So a project that we do like every semester is it's called, there's a park called Prospect Park in Ypsilanti, and we have a sign there actually with like the Omega Phi Alpha like logo and everything, and so we usually do like a park cleanup. So we usually just pick up a bunch of trash because it's not the best park, but there's a lot of like graffiti like on like some of the like awnings or like covered structures. So like I was thinking of trying to figure out who to contact to see if like we could paint it. I'm not really.
Ooh.
Like, clean up the graffiti as well instead of just like picking up trash.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
That's an interesting component, like bringing it to a different level. Yeah, I don't know if you, I guess it would be Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Because I know like a lot of places, what they'll do is with their, like the water heaters or the electric heaters and whatnot in public places, they will actually have artists come out and paint those so that they don't look just like, here's your tan box.
Right.
So that might be, yeah, the direction you're thinking too. You could even make it like a whole, like you could add like a picnic to it, or tie-dyes.
Okay.
Trying to think. You could, yeah, it could be like before an event so that you're going, so it's just like a thing. It's like a combo package. Like here's your appetizer and here's the main course, like kind of deal. Trying to think. And what about you, Emily? Any thoughts? I don't know.
I think picnic would be a cool idea to like have at the beginning or the end of the project even.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think. Like with chapter retreat. Having that in there. And if you get to paint, what you could do is like have paint sessions throughout the chapter retreat. So everyone, like small groups, could go out there and spend time like painting.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like fun. Sounds like so much fun. That way it's not just like, oh, it's a park cleanup, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you could incorporate it in that that would be the way to do that and elevate
Okay.
the project for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, because last semester I felt bad because like trying to make people clean up trash, I was like giving them candy afterwards, but I think
If it works, that works.
right.
Like, that's funny. Here's your candy.
Right.
Don't put
Like,
it on the ground.
no.
Is there any other service projects that you guys want to talk about that we could elevate and bring to that next level, that you guys already do?
We do free rides, so like hearing Emily's idea, I feel like I'm gonna kind of do a version of like that too to get the sisters more involved. But
There you go.
Yeah, it was a pretty big success. I think we probably had the most involvement in that one.
Taylor's gonna email me at the end of the semester and be like, these chapters are way too competitive and need to tone it down. Like it's getting a little crazy. Just remind them it's all like we're still a team, it's a
Right.
unit, we're a group. But the other team's going down. Like that's how that can go.
our chapter is definitely competitive. We had a social one time. We were over at a sister's apartment and we were playing like games on her like TV or whatever. It got really competitive, but everyone was laughing, so it was good.
Yes. I can attest, you guys are competitive. And that's something you can use. Like if you know your chapter's competitive, make them competitive about the service events. Like you could even do it to where like, okay, whoever has the most service hours at the end of the semester gets a Starbucks gift card. Like there's a way to elevate and make people more engaged with the service projects. Like I said, like I love how we took free rice and like just built it, like made it to a bigger event and made it to a bigger thing. And you can do that with every service project for the most part. Like the park, like it's just going to take a lot more work, but you can pull in other groups or other groups with our committees and get their assistance with it as well. Like it doesn't have to be just you.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I know like one project we also did this past semester that was pretty cool, and it was something we did in collaboration with like other organizations at our university. So like one of the engineering frats at our school, like our sorority, like works pretty close with them on projects here and there, and just like the student basic needs coalition, we got them involved. We like put together like hygiene type kits for the homeless in the area, and then we took it to different organizations in our town that like offer them certain services. That was pretty fun to do because it was like an umbrella project. Like we had like multiple days worth of like packing the kits, and it was like it was like really nice because it was another one of those projects where we could like still focus on the service but also like take the time to like talk to each other while we were doing it. So,
and it's also great for PR because you're getting to work with other organizations and making those relationships so that when another project comes across for you guys or the other organizations, they can be like, oh yeah, that Omega Phi Alpha, like let's work with them on this, and you guys vice versa. It starts to build those relationships, and so and it also helps with advertising, like you guys as an org for recruitment, like it is what it is. And so that's awesome. I think that's great. You could even like do car karaoke on the way to dropping off the items as well. I know that's a thing.
I don't think I'd ever heard of that.
What?
You ever heard of carpool karaoke?
No.
Oh, you're gonna look it up and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I forget there's a comedian, I'm blanking his name, that does it
Is
on
it
one of his shows.
James Corden, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
He
said
And-
does it with like a lot of celebrities.
Yeah,
car karaoke?
our karaoke.
Yeah.
I'll be looking that up later.
A lot of people like to do it and like they'll just like post the videos on like their TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And but yeah, everyone loves singing in the car. What about you, Grace?
We partnered with so we have girls in our sorority who have boyfriends in Theta Chi. And so they this past year like specifically made a chair to work with like the writing organization. And so they were hosting like a bake sale, and so we partnered with them and like brought them like a lot of baked goods and like showed up and helped them like advertise and stuff on like Instagram, and that went really well. And so I think we'll be doing it again this year. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome. And then I just want to make sure too, like you guys both have the new service manual that came out like within the last year or two.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because that thing is awesome. Awesome.
I used it a lot last semester.
Right?
Mhm.
It's funny because I come across, I have to remind myself, like, not every service director has this thing or knows about this thing. And I'm like, it's just awesome. You literally can just go in there and like pick a project. But what's cool about it is like, I feel like it gives you a great baseline. And then if you take that time and energy, you can elevate those projects to like, yes, it's an umbrella project, but you know what, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can make it to where it's really appetizing and appealing to everybody, and they'll want to do this service project. Are there any service projects that you guys really want to do and bring that elevation to it, but haven't done it yet? It's okay to say no. It just
Let me think about it.
I feel like it's like difficult to pick a single project like that for my chapter because we just do like such different projects every semester, and we really try to make sure that like everybody gets a choice in like picking it. So like the service directors don't really like, I mean, we obviously get a say in like how certain things are done and we're there to offer help, but like we don't really plan them. Like it's like the girls who plan them, and if they need help, we're there to back them up or guide them in the right direction. So there's just always like so many new, like really different things we do every single semester.
That's interesting. That's different. I know, like back when I was active, we were given service projects options, and then we could like vote on them. But we also like, you had the option like when we were voting to like add in any, like
Mhm.
as discussion happens. And then the service director then we would pick dates, we would pick times, and then the service director basically was like point of execution. Like they were executing the service project along with the service committee. And it's just so interesting because chapters do it so differently.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been weird sitting and like listening to how other people
Right?
do it, because I feel like a lot of people I have not heard do it the way we do.
but I think that's awesome that that's how you do that. And I think an opportunity for you really here from this discussion is like, you can think, you have that opportunity to really think about the service project and be like, okay, how can we incorporate these other aspects and elevate this project and bring that into the game? So I think it's awesome that that's how you guys do it. I love how everyone has the same baseline, but how they go about it is so different.
Yeah,
And it's just awesome. I like it. Now for you guys individually, is there a project that you're like, I would love for us to do this one day? Like, do any of you do the Humane Society? And it's so funny because to me, I'm like, that was always our go-to community project. Like, you had the whole semester, you get to go play with puppies. How can it get any better?
Right. That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Right? Or cats. They had cats too. One time they had a tortoise.
Oh,
We
that's
couldn't play with that one.
No, but
But-
that's so cute.
But it's crazy because that was like our go-to, like, do it. Like, we're totally gonna do that. And it's funny because I don't really hear a lot of chapters doing that anymore. And I'm like, what? It was easy.
Yeah, probably like the most similar type thing my chapter has like attempted to do with something even remotely like that recently. It was for a fundraiser actually, but it was oh, I forget what we were going to call it, but like we were gonna have like girls bring their dogs in and then like you pay to like play with them, like something like that.
Mhm.
But we didn't have enough girls with dogs.
One thing you can do, because I know we did it as like a fundraiser aspect instead of service, was we partnered with the Humane Society with the dog. We would have the dogs on campus, and for you got to like pet them and play with them for like 30 minutes, and you would pay a fee to do that. And it was like a stress relief
Mhm.
fundraiser kind of deal. So you could do it that way as well if you don't have enough dogs. Yeah.
Oh, that would be really cool.
There you go. Now in the fall, there is a service, the National Service Week. What do you guys do for that week in particular?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I started service director in the winter semester, and in the fall, our previous service directors hadn't done anything. So I'm not really sure like how that week is supposed to look.
Okay. What about you, Emily?
Yeah, I was a P&M in the fall, so this has been my first full year, and then I stepped into service director in the spring, so I'm not quite sure what we've done in the past either.
Okay. Cool. Well, a National Service Week, fun fact, you have till November to like plan it. So it's not coming up. But what it is there's usually like the national organization, the nationals will have a service project. I think last year they did something with rain. So there will be that kind of project. And then it kind of depends on the chapter's vibe. But you could do like a small service project each day of the week. You could do a big project at the end and the beginning. It kind of just depends on the chapter's vibe. I personally always liked doing a little small service project each day or every other day. It's just a great week to, get service in. You could, now that I'm thinking about it, the free rice Olympic competition, you could totally just do it that whole week.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then
That
like on the weekend, you could do like a field day sisterhood activities to like round it out.
Yeah, one thing that I like really liked in particular about the free rice, and like one reason it would probably work really well for that is that my chapter is like definitely on the bigger side. And so like stepping into this position, I've noticed that umbrella projects have been really beneficial for us because it's so difficult to get everybody like together at one time to do something.
Yeah. And I think the thing that sometimes happens is that especially with COVID, is umbrella projects have become like, whoa, super awesome, but also like virtual. And you got to have that balance of like virtual and not virtual. Because I don't think you could ever go back to like no virtual project.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like this past semester, that was something we really tried to like stay away from, was doing virtual projects. I think Free Rice was the only one we ended up doing that was like virtual. But we did, like I said, like we tried to include like some in-person like components, like the game nights. So
Yeah, I'm thinking like, since you are a bigger chapter, like, yeah, if you took the National Service Week and made it like Free Rice Olympics, there you go. Trying to think, Grace, with you in particular, I think with, just because I know Gamma, I think a project every night, like a little sampler every night, might be their preferred route. Am I on point here? A little bit? Yeah. You could do, or you could try and do the Free Rice Olympics actually, and see what they say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would work. I know.
Yeah.
So I kind of set out like a survey like with their time availability for the semester. And so I'm nervous because it's not looking good with like when they're available to do stuff. So I have to figure out that. But
Ooh. Do you have a similar issue, Emily, with the time and availability?
Yeah, that's like I said, that's why like umbrella projects have like been our savior, is because like it gives everybody more of an opportunity to do stuff. So
Yeah. And that's what I think, like, I felt like as an active like umbrella project, the whole idea of it was like so that it was easy. But don't be afraid to like bring it to another level as well. Like we did with the Free Rice. Like, this is something that literally you just sit in front of your computer and do. Like, but you can bring it to another level. And so don't be afraid to like do that with the other service projects as well. Like I know a lot of times you could do like food pantries. And that's one, it's a very easy umbrella project, but you can elevate it. Like there are ways to elevate that. So just like think about that as well.
I feel like if like we were to do like a Free Rice like Olympic type thing for service week, to like elevate it, I feel like at the end, like the last night or something, we could have like a big get together and have like a rice night. Like people make different rice dishes and then we all just like eat and like play together until like, you know, a certain time when it's officially over and then the winner's announced.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love the different kinds of rice. Oh my goodness. Like each team could
Yeah, I
have
could
a
like
different
bring
rice.
a dish, yeah.
right.
And I think that would count as diversity.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're like pulling from all the different little areas. I love it. I love it.
Mm.
I love it. Grace, I saw your reaction.
I love rice.
Me too.
You could, like, so like at our formal we handed out these cute like little awards, like who's the scariest driver, or like funny things like that. And so I feel like you could do like cute little awards like at the end of the week, like who got the most rice, or like
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Who is the scariest driver? That's an award. Okay.
It happens
had-
to be our vice president now, so
We had something similar where we would have like fun awards like that too. That's awesome. I love it. We're taking Free Rise to another level.
right.
Yeah.
Now, is there another project that you guys can think of off the top of your head that you guys have done that we could do, that we could elevate as well? Feel free to throw it out there.
Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We work a lot. We actually have like a food pantry on campus for like students to go to. And so we've done like a lot of work with them. This past semester was kind of like a virtual event because they had like an Amazon wish list. So sisters could just go and buy stuff off of the wish list and it'll be sent directly to the food pantry. But I feel like I want to get them more interactive with the food pantry on campus. I'm just trying to figure out how.
Have you done any food pantries, Emily?
I know in the past my chapter's done some stuff with the food pantry at our school. One thing I could think of that might be kind of fun, and it was actually part of like Greek week, like it wasn't our sorority that did this specifically, but so each like teams, like like maybe a couple of fraternities and sororities would like make up a team, and you all would like donate cans, and then you'd have to like build like a statue with the cans you donated to fit a certain theme. Whoever's was like the best or whatever, the biggest like one, and then afterwards all the food was donated to the food pantry. But that was pretty cool.
That's cool. So like kind of, I don't know if you guys have seen, like they'll have like the sand castle competitions.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Okay. That sounds really cool.
Food pantry.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be fun. And like
Yeah.
you could do it to like, if you did it on like a Saturday and they had to like 5 p.m. to make their creation with whatever food pantry items were on the list. And then the winner. I love it. That's cool. I like it. The one thing I was going to suggest was like having the list like in person. We're actually doing something similar at my work for schools, like a school drive. And we actually have like a poster and the person's like literally marking things off as we go.
Okay.
So that could be a way too. But I really like the sand sculpture dealio. I'm like just picturing all these unique designs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the theme was like space, so people were building like rocket ships and stuff. It was cool.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't know how I would do this.
Yeah.
I would need some very creative people on my team pointing me in the direction.
Right.
But that's a cool way to do that. I like that. Let's see, what else? What else? For the Human Rights Project, what are you guys thinking? I love this project.
Right now, I want to do something with like women's rights, like within like healthcare and stuff. So I'm trying to figure that out. But the one I figure out the most is doing something because we're in Michigan, so working, trying to find an organization within Flint to work with like the water crisis in Flint with like all the lead poisoning and stuff. I know there's an organization right now that's like wanting to raise money for like behavioral studies to see how the kids' behavior has changed since like ingesting so much lead and stuff like that.
Okay. One thing, I don't know if you guys have watched this. It's an older John Travolta movie. The Flint water thing made me think of it. It's called A Civil Action. and it's about how the water is being contaminated by these tanning agents. And nobody was telling the families, and the kids were passing away from cancer. So that could be almost like if you could find some way, like a documentary or something about the Flint water crisis, and like have a viewing of that and whatnot, that could be something.
I think this is just my personal idea, but like I said, I'll definitely suggest it, but it just depends on what the sisters ultimately vote on. But
Yeah.
I think that something would be kind of cool. Like you said, like a screening of a documentary or like a movie that centers around human rights. But like, for example, if you did something related to like the water crisis, you could have like a showing for the students on campus, and then like for them to like gain entry, like instead of like paying you, maybe they could like donate like some water, and that's how they get in.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like that's a cool idea, actually.
There's a ton of human rights. Maybe use that, touch on this. Another thing you could do is like a book club, almost like I'm thinking umbrella concepts. Like if you picked a human rights book, and then like you could do the project, or like do a project like around that. What comes to mind for me is there's this book, it's pretty small, it's called 3 Cups of Deceit. And what it is about this guy who claimed he was raising money for building homes in Afghanistan and Africa. He was not. And basically that's what this book is about. It's like just being very like how he got caught and whatnot. So if you could find a book like that, that's small enough, like you could do a book club, and then whatever the issue is in the book, coordinate with a charity with that, like similar to the movie screening, but just book form. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's so many routes you can go with this project. You can go environmental. You could do elephants and Africa and rhinos. There's a great charity that works with those. Yeah, there's so many different routes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this project.
Yeah, there's just I love it. It's my thing. This is up my alley. So
Yeah, when it got announced at convention, I like looked over at Maisie. I was like, I'm so excited for this.
I think what's great is it's kind of similar to an umbrella project, because human rights, it encompasses so many different aspects that you don't think about until you go into it and you see all the different avenues that you can go with it. Like most people don't realize environmental issues caveat into that. But then you see things like the Flint water crisis, and I'm like, that's environmental issue. Here we are. Amazon rainforest is a big one right now. Another thing, I think a lot of charities are there's certain orgs out there where you can donate and they will plant trees in the Amazon, or they have a bunch of different rainforests now. So you could look into that as well. There's human rights. Yeah, there's just all of it, all of the rights. Trying to think here, because you guys are on a completely different time zone than I am.
Oh, what time is it for you?
It is 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm on the Pacific.
Okay.
Nice.
It's, yeah. Everyone's on the East Coast though. Everybody. So it's that's just how it goes. Well, trying to do the math in my head. Okay. So we got about another hour. Oh my. They made this breakout session very long. I think they were anticipating though more, to be fair, more service directors to be
Yeah.
in the session. Let me clarify
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There was more of us yesterday, so I don't know.
Yeah, there were
Oh.
like a good bit more of us yesterday, actually.
Crazy. Yeah.
I thought my service advisor would be popping in, but I'm not sure what happened.
If you don't mind me asking, what is a service advisor?
Oh, so a lot of positions in my chapter, there's like 2 people. For service specifically, there's director and advisor. And obviously, the service director like handles a bit of the heavier load, like especially anytime there's paperwork, like the director's typically the one who deals with it. But advisor, it's honestly kind of like a co-director.
Okay.
But they handle a little bit less of the load. But they're still there, like if you need help with something and it's like, it's not necessarily something you'd like go to the committee leaders with, or it's just like you want a second opinion on something, like they're there.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about using OPA portal and entering in the service projects with that and like the chapter using that?
Well, I know for my chapter personally, we're a really big fan of Google Drive. So like everything we do is in Google Drive, and really the only time that like for my position at least that I use OPA portal is just, when I have to enter in stuff for nationals, like what the projects are, when they'll happen, and then everybody's hours. But like we don't, like the girls don't really like use it to sign up for projects or whatnot. We usually use like Google Sheets and Google Forms and whatnot.
Okay. And then, so they don't have to, so like you create the project and then you'll enter in their time after the project's closed, like who attended and everything on OPA portal.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? You cut out a little bit.
No, so I'll get, on OPA portal, so you will put in the projects on the calendar and then once the project's done, you enter in who attended and the hours that they get.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
manually enter the hours. And that's one thing that's good having the service advisor around for, is it speeds it along.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Because the intent, because I know on it, what you can do is everyone can say that you can sign up for the events.
Right.
And then once the event closes, then you just have to go and confirm the times.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
And I
but
have been like considering switching more to that type of system, but I know like some like concerns that some of the exec board had was just like girls being honest about their times and like us being able to keep up with it. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah. Well, it's a matter of like, from what it sounds like, it's a matter of like adjusting to OPA portal. I totally get about being honest on times but I think you approve it
Yeah.
or
yeah,
don't approve
no,
it, like
yeah.
kind of situation.
Right.
And a lot of people, they'll have the drive like for themselves and then
Mhm.
they go and compare it against what people put in OPA portal and whatnot.
Okay.
I have seen that as well because
Like-
so everyone loves the drive.
Yeah, I like last semester I used OK Portal like as like a hard copy, and I had my separate like my own Excel sheet that I also shared with the vice president. So like for mid semester checks, she can easily go there and
Mhm.
see things. I had everyone's hours there. And then like I would enter them into Portal, but like I had them sign up for themselves on Portal. Like they were
Okay.
confused at first. I sent them a little video over Snapchat and they got it figured out, but it works. It's been much easier doing it that way, I feel like.
Yeah, that definitely might be something to try out then. Because like I said, like with a big chapter like that, it definitely is a little bit harder on like the service director and advisor to have to like go through and do that after every project. It's time consuming.
Totally. And it's nice because like you can pull like, for example, nationals, they can pull the report midway through and check if you guys are at your 60%
Mhm.
and whatnot. Like I
Right.
think when it gets close to the end of the semester, they will pull it and see, okay, did all the chapters complete their 60%? Reach out to the chapters that haven't.
Right.
And also on OPA Portal, I feel like I wish I had it as an active. It would have been nice because
Mhm.
then I'm not asking the service director like, hey, what are my hours? What are my hours? You
Mhm.
guys get asked that all the time. I feel like that
Well,
annoy them.
what we do is, well, before we enter hours into OPA Portal, is we have a big spreadsheet and we always put the hours there so that girls like can have them and they can see them. That way, if something does look wrong, then it's there for them to say, hey guys, like something doesn't look right.
Yeah, we do that as well. And like to keep it like privacy, like I just do the like last 4 digits of their student ID number.
Oh,
That way,
nice.
like other girls can't tell like who has not so many hours or not like that, just to like keep it a little bit more
Okay, yeah, that's
private.
actually really smart because we don't do that. It's out there for everybody.
The only people in our chapter who know like someone's like student ID number, like the last 4 digits, are like e-board, because like I think it's the treasurer who gets the new numbers, and then so I just take it and made an Excel sheet like that. But
That's a good idea for sure. Because like there are people that struggle with it and like have to go to CSB and create like a plan to get them, I always call it, get them through the end zone.
yes.
So I think that's a good idea for sure. Helps keep the privacy for sure. Cool. Do you guys have any questions just in general? You'd be amazed. I can tell you how to pull a bank statement, fill out an annual chapter report. P.S. I was only a VP. I didn't do any of this stuff before. I have acquired many talents.
Okay, so I don't like, so with fees, they're like charging them something, or like, I mean, fining them.
Oh, fining. Oh, that's
yeah.
my favorite.
It makes me nervous.
Don't be.
Like I was reading through like at least our like constitution and stuff for like the service stuff, and then there's like not really a specific amount of like what we're supposed to like fine them if like they don't do like show up to like the mandatory like service event that was planned. And so like I just don't know how to go about that.
Honestly, like what you get to do, because you're the service director, so you get the easy part. You just get to send the issuance. Like you get to go tell the treasurer and VP like, hey, these people didn't show up, you need to go find them.
Yeah,
and then the
that's what I
treasurer
did.
tells the VP, and then the VP gets to be the big bad wolf and be like, yo, you're fined for this, give me the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just have to turn them in. That's all I have to do.
That's all you get to do. Yeah, you get to, you're like
You're like the tattletale.
Okay.
You just witness the crime. You don't go and
right.
You don't go and get anybody and enforce it.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes me less nervous about it. So.
And then if they have an issue with the fine, like, then they go talk to the treasurer. But for the most part, your part's done. Like, they didn't
Okay.
show up.
Okay.
But the caveat is you have to make sure like everyone signs up for the event
Yes.
in time and whatnot. But yeah, you get the easy part.
Right. Yeah. 'cause
I hated sending those out.
I was like rereading through like our constitution and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, like I guess I never like realized that it was like 24 hours before the service event that it becomes like a binding contract. Like once they sign up, and you could technically fine them for that, like if they don't show up. And I guess I never really realized that, which happened a lot last semester.
Yeah.
It's
What
it's
my
crazy.
chap- Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead. Emily.
Sorry. Yeah, like what my chapter does is like when that happens, we just deduct service hours.
The dog service. Okay.
See,
Yeah,
I
like
feel bad doing that.
yeah.
But I get it.
Thankfully, well, not thankfully, but like we didn't really have to do it a lot, but when we did it was like the same people, so they like knew what they were getting into, but it's like they didn't care.
Okay.
But for the people where it happened like on accident, like maybe they just forgot they had signed up, and obviously we still had to follow through with the rules. Typically it didn't hurt them because we only deduct like half an hour, and they were usually like so like okay that it didn't bother them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it just depends on what your chapter wants.
Mhm.
Is because a lot of people, there's chapters that fine, and then there's chapters that do the deduction.
Yeah, it gets people's attention though.
Oh, either way, yeah. I know like my chapter as an active, we did the fines, and that's because it got people's attention. Like, that's just how it went. We needed money.
Yeah. At the end of the semester, I had a couple like a good amount like if you're start finding new hours in the semester, and by the end of the semester, I only had to find one person. So
There you go.
the fines definitely worked in that case.
Yeah, and the other thing is too is like this is where like the VP's importance comes into play for you guys, because in order to issue those fines, you have to be under the assumption that all the actives know. And in order for you to avoid hearing like, why am I getting this fine? I didn't know that that was in the Constitution and bylaws. The VP has to give them, everybody, the local Constitution and bylaws, usually like on OPA portal or Facebook or whatever. There has to be somewhere that everyone can access it. Because once everyone has it, therefore it is binding. And
Yeah,
you don't
we have ours
that
in our
argument.
Google Drive, so
Yeah, I think and I think you guys have it on OPA portal as well from last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we had it on our Facebook because we didn't have OPA portal. That was nothing. But yeah, fines, demerits, it's all fun. Don't be afraid to issue it. Don't be afraid. They're in a service story. The point is service.
Yes.
And
Let's
they
get
might be
that.
mad for a little bit, but they're gonna forget about it.
They won't be mad at you. They're going to be mad at your VP for giving them.
Right. They don't
Which
have
I
to
know
know me.
that part's always funny.
Yeah.
They just send the email, like they're just enforcing it, like, but they take the brunt of it. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
How many actives do you have at your chapter, Emily?
I think as of right now, we have 63. I think there might be a good bit of people going LOA.
Anyway.
But yeah, we have 63 right now. We had a bunch of girls graduate too, so I think we were in the 70s
Oh,
before.
wow.
Mhm.
Wow, I feel small.
I know, when I was active, we had a huge pledge class and it divided the chapter. So then we had to put like a cap, like we were like, we cannot be above 60 actives because it just gets crazy. Just
Mhm.
don't know why. So
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of girls like who are interested in joining this fall too, so I think our numbers might skyrocket.
but that's good. Growth is good. That means you're advertising what they want. And it's going well.
Yeah, our social media chair's done a really good job too. I think that's where a lot of the interest has come from.
Yeah. With your guys' service projects, don't forget to like take pictures and whatnot and have it posted on social media too. I feel like that gets forgotten all the time.
Mhm.
And Grace, don't worry, you guys will be at 60 like in no time.
Right.
You guys will though. You will. If all goes according to plan, you'll be at like in the 30s.
That's my goal for right now. Like get us there.
You're gonna get those 20 PNMs. What are you talking about?
Right.
This fall. So any other questions?
Mm,
I do really hope like this session has helped think about projects like just in a different light. Because I think it's, especially with the COVID situation and coming out of it, I think it's more important now than ever to make sure you take those projects and elevate them to another level, for sure.
Yeah.
How are you guys liking the OLA?
It's really interesting so far, actually. Like, I feel like it's been a little bit easier to engage in this than like other things I've done in the past. I like how we go like into big sessions and breakout room and like back and forth. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's been nice to like talk to you, Emily, and to other service directors and to get to know like Alexa more and stuff like that. So it's like I won't be as nervous like emailing her or whatever if we need help.
No, she's
but-
really great. She was my president, actually.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she seems super nice, so I'm excited.
Yeah, she is.
A lot of it is like seeing that face and being like, okay, this person is not as scary. I know I get that all the time. I don't know why. I'm not that scary.
You are.
I'm not. I try to be very funny but serious at the same time.
Right.
There's definitely moments when I'm like, okay, you guys need to get it together here.
Right, but that's normal though.
That is a normal conversation I do have to have. Yeah. Yes, it is. Emily, just for your information, I am Gamma's chapter health specialist.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Just some context. So, but I think, yeah, I think service is a huge part of also membership retention, like people staying. Because if the service projects are of a certain quality too, like people may not want to stay because it's not what they expected, or it may be more than what they expected. You have the opposite. So it's making sure to find that sweet balance, for sure, is important.
Yeah.
Do you guys
One
think?
thing
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that I'm a little nervous for in like the upcoming semesters is, so our chapter has always had like a 20 like a 20-hour service hour requirement. And it dropped obviously for COVID, and then they brought it back up a little bit to 15. And that was a struggle for a lot of people, but we're still trying to raise it back up to 20.
So Gamma actually was in a very similar situation, to a point to where like a lot of members left because they couldn't meet the 20. And honestly, I had to sit down with them and I was like, you guys need to drop it to 10. Like, we need to start back at 10 and gradually get back to the 20.
Right.
You just gotta let that time properly adjust instead of just forcing it back, because if you do just force that back, it can put a lot of people in a negative way. And if you struggle to get to the 15, I think jumping it to the 20 is not a great idea.
Well, and also like, and I mean, I had talked to Alexa about this like multiple times, because actually this past semester we had meant to raise it back up to 20, but then we just didn't for whatever reason. But the thing is that we know the girls are capable of getting 20, because like Alexa like told me like multiple times, like before COVID especially, like people were getting, 25, 30 plus hours just for the 20-hour requirement. And the thing is, I know they can do it, because even with this 15-hour requirement, I think it did give some of them a wake-up call, being like, I need to kick it into gear a little more. But I think we only maybe had 2 or 3 girls who didn't meet requirements after we, gave them a little boost. I know a big part of like some girls having like trouble was just the fact that like doing things virtually was a little bit more convenient, and it was, hard obviously to get them back into like, I guess, the mindset of wanting to go in person to do stuff, because they can do it. It's just it's not as convenient as it was type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's how the 20 situation happens too. Because like, yeah, pre-pandemic we could get to 20, but like we're still trying to like crank out the COVID cobwebs a little bit and like
Right.
trying to get that. And I think the fact that you boosted it to 15 is awesome. And I would wait a year to put it back at the 20. And I think it would be okay. Like enough time because you got to let people adjust too.
Right.
I feel like a lot of chapters I always hear is like, they want to go back to like pre-COVID. They're like, okay, COVID's over. We're going back to how it was. And I'm like, you can't rip that Band-Aid off so drastically.
Right.
Like, it's like, you're going to shock some people here. Like, and for some people, they've only known the COVID way too. Like, so I think that gradual increase, totally awesome. I think that's, yeah. I think so it would be next semester you would do the 20.
Actually, I think it would be this semester. I think it has been a year. Yeah.
But the other thing is like, you could poll the chapter too and ask as well. Like, I feel like a lot of times like EBs are very scared to do that because they're worried about it doesn't look like I'm a leader, I'm not as determined or set. But I'm like, you can survey that and just see where everyone's at too.
Right.
But yeah, 10, 20, it's all doable. Just get there, do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. You guys show up to classes, you can go do the service projects, like, come on. Grace, have you guys talked about increasing?
I think so. We technically, it still says like 15 on like Greek Chat or whatever, like on a whole portal.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's not right.
so right. So a lot of sisters like actually did meet the 15 besides the couple sisters who asked for an hour's reduction.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them did meet it, and the sisters who didn't like graduated. So I think the decision that we're trying to make is if we, so technically for Gamma, we have the 10 that's required, and then the extra 5 is usually in the past have done like external hours, so they do their service hours outside of the sorority if they wanted to. But a majority of the girls just did extra service projects that were being hosted by us
Mhm.
and got their 15 hours that way.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of like proposing the idea of just doing 15 hours from like just OPA instead of doing external.
That's an interesting idea. That's like, yeah.
Because it's not like
Mhm.
like there's more than enough service projects that like I planned last semester. Like I think I had like over like 30 hours worth of like projects that they could do. And so a lot of them got them done. I think like maybe only one person or two people had external hours like that they used for their 5. So
Yeah, no, that's totally, yeah, an interesting way to do that for sure. But that's awesome that they all could meet that 15. And I think I think the numbers show you too. That's the nice part about OPA portal is you can see it, is you can see if it's time for that change, for that next turn in the cog to get back to square one. For sure. Because COVID definitely put a lot of chapters in a funk, for sure. I'm trying to think. I think there's only 45 minutes left. Right? Only 45. Yeah. I can hear my tummy grumbling. Do you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns about anything? Or ideas? Always service project ideas, totally. Like, what are you guys doing for sisterhood? Because
like
I know
social.
The sisterhood are no. Blah.
Members of the sorority?
Members of
Yes.
sorority?
Yes.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah, members of the sorority.
I was thinking about like hosting the Teach a Sister night and like have like a couple sisters like if they wanted to like teach us something and like
teach a sister. Okay.
yeah. So I'm trying to like figure out I want to do that. But
We did that. They had to teach us how to knit so that we could take part in Project Linus, which I don't know if you guys have done that.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is. I haven't done it, but I know what it is.
they did it at convention for the service project. We did like the flannel blankets.
Yeah. So that was an experience. I never thought I would learn how to knit, but I do know how to do that.
Okay, I thought of a question.
Yeah.
I feel like the members of the sorority area is always the area of service for us where we maybe lack a little bit more compared to the others. Like, I just feel like girls have like trouble really wanting to get involved with it. Do you have any like tips on like how to maybe stir up more interest in it?
Which is interesting because they pick the service projects.
Yeah.
What are some projects you've done in the past?
Well, I know like in the past, like before I joined, they like teach a sister. This past semester we did like a self-defense class.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm. We done like paint and sip in the past. So the only things I can think of off the top of my head.
Trying to pull up the manual to see what that has in there as some suggestions. Let's see. Members of sorority, okay. Host a fundraiser for the scholarship fund. Host a fundraiser for the foundation. Teach your sister, tutor a sister self-defense class. Help stock an alum classroom. Oh, archive chapter history. Have you done that?
We haven't done that, but I think all of our chapter history is like pretty archived.
Okay. That is so much fun, by the way. It's like you see people, you're like, what in the world? Outfits. It's insane. This one is one that I always suggest. I think actually, Grace, you guys are doing this. It's the leadership development module.
What did you say? You
The
kinda cut out.
leadership development module
Yes.
on OPA portal. Yeah. So that is a great one for the members of sorority. Because people always ask, like, what do my dues to nationals get me? That is an example of what your dues get you. This is a free leadership program that you can have all the actives do it, or all the members do it, even the PNMs. And that way, as time goes on, just the PNMs have to do it, and everyone's had this training. It's a great resource. You can put it on your resume. From a service aspect, like you can have tutoring nights or little sessions where groups can get together and work on it. It's a great umbrella project for members of the sorority. Like people could go get dinner and then go work on it. I think you just have to complete it by the semester.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah, I don't know why of all the areas that's the one that seems to be.
I think it's always hard because it like flirts with the like sisterhood stuff a little bit. So like making sure you're not dipping into that area.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hard. But that's funny. That's the area.
Yeah. I feel like it always ends up being like the last project we do too, because I think everybody's just like, we'll just leave that for the end.
We'll get to it sometime.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to be one of the first service projects I do during the semester, simply because I want to make sure our actives know how to sing the like the OFIA song for like activation.
Oh yeah.
Because recently we've just been using the recording and it's like sounds weird and creepy, and I feel like everyone just needs to learn how to sing it. Like it's not that bad. Like once I was at convention and like we were doing it, I was like, this isn't bad.
No.
Like it's not that hard to learn.
You guys were playing the recording? I didn't know that. Oh, we never played the recording because it's creepy.
It is.
Never. Well, at your chapter retreats, I definitely recommend going over the songs in person as a group to not have the creepy recording.
Yes.
I taught that earlier in the day today, and I did warn them. I was like, we do have creepy recordings if you want to hear them to help you learn how to sing it, but here's the manual with all the songs. one day they will re-record them.
I
One
think
day.
I think they did. I think they uploaded new
New
ones to Opal Portal.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to go listen to those and see how good those are.
That is one thing they constantly have heard. They're creepy.
Because it's like
great
fuzzy.
probably.
Yeah, because it was like fuzzy when like kind of cut in and cut out, and so it's just like
I think the creepiest one, I don't know if you guys have heard it, is the rose that you do right before activation. I'm like, this is creepy.
yeah.
So creepy. But that's a good one. So yeah, that's a great time to practice that for sure.
Yeah.
Singing is important. You don't have to be great at it, but just know the words.
Right. I feel like it'll be much better even if we don't know how to like sing. I feel like it'd be much better than the creepy recording.
Anything's better than the recording.
Right.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, definitely practice that at chapter retreat and you guys should be good. Any other questions?
Not that I can think of.
You guys are on it. You're so excited. You guys are on it. So excited. What year are you guys in for school?
I'm a senior.
I'll be a sophomore.
Nice. How is the sophomore class schedule?
It's okay. I guess.
I know I always had a hard time because there were classes I wanted to take more at like the junior or 3 level. When I was at a sophomore level, I was like, but I want to take those. That
Yeah.
I can't take.
Yeah. I think one thing I'm not really looking forward to though, like as I move through, is I have a major that's like not super common at my school. And so there's usually like just one class section for the classes I have. So I almost like don't get a say like what it looks like.
No. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Like
A
that
lot
for
of
my
my
program
classes
as
are in
well.
evening. Mhm.
What? Well, I guess mine kind of went that way too. There was not a lot of options.
Yeah.
What are your degrees in?
I'm
Or going
social
to?
work.
Social work? Okay.
Neuroscience and Spanish.
Nice. Do you still have to take, so when I took German in college and it was 4 days a week.
Mhm.
Is that the same with the Spanish?
Or is it- No. Well, I mean, I think with any of the language classes at WVU, at least you can take pretty much whenever you want. Like my Spanish class for this semester, I have 3 days a week.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
I know. There's German. And it was always at 8 a.m. I'm like, why?
Really?
Why are we doing this at 8 a.m.?
Yeah,
Right.
Spanish
Why are we
is like
doing
the
anything?
only stuff I have flexibility with.
It's so much fun though, because my teacher would always say not appropriate things in German and pretend like we didn't know, but we all knew.
Right.
Like those were the first words we learned in German. We can't say how nice to meet you, but we definitely know the bad words for sure.
Right.
Definitely.
I just got back from like a month-long study abroad trip in Spain, and we
Oh,
studied at like this international university, and so there were like Spaniards there and people from Japan and other places. And like the very first night we were there, we like had dinner with a bunch of the Spaniards, and the first thing we all started asking each other was like, how do you say the bad words?
see, that's just what you do.
Yeah.
I played soccer. I know all those bad words too. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why it's always the first thing that comes to mind, but it
Yeah.
just is. Did you go to Barcelona?
I did not go to Barcelona actually. I went to a bunch of different places in Spain, but Barcelona was not one of them.
I just I watched Uncharted on
Mhm.
Netflix last night, and there was a scene in Barcelona, and I was like, oh, it looks so great. So that's why it was on my mind.
Do you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Um,
No.
there, oh, that's okay. I don't either. There was this one place that we went like for one of our weekend excursions. I forget what the place was called where it was at. It was in like Catalan. It wasn't in like Spanish. Like it was in a different language. So I like do not know how to say it. But it was one of the places where they filmed a scene for Game of Thrones. It was super cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, the breakout rooms are